Hi, I'm Mike Snyder from ATV, and I'm here at Craft Music today. Glad to be back, and I'm here to talk to you a little more in depth about the aFrame, a great new instrument. This electro-organic instrument, I call it that because it truly is a new instrument, and you have a little bit of a relationship with it. It has a bamboo frame by a prominent company in the music industry for years that made wood products called Fujigin. And it has electronics that are like nothing you've ever seen. It's incredibly playable. Any kind of playing style, be it frame drum, be it hand drum style, be it cajon style, or even on a snare stand with your hands, totally adapts to anybody's playing style. Amazing. What I'd like to cover today is a little more of the programming of the aFrame. You've seen a lot of demo videos, but I want to talk about how the sound is generated and how you can customize sounds to make the aFrame your own. There are 4 areas within the aFrame that generate the sound. Remember, the sound you hear is DSP, digital signal processing, not samples. I can't stress that enough. It's very unique, and that's what makes it so expressive. The 4 areas are main timbre, subtamber, extra timbre, and the audio sound of the pickups themselves. All of these are then passed through effects, typical effects like chorusing and flanging and reverb and delay and those sort of things. From the factory, the aFrame comes with 80 tones. Now, a tone is an instrument and an effect paired together. Those 80 tones can be stored in banks. There are 8 banks, and each bank out of the box holds 10 tones. But each bank can hold up to 40 tones. That's 320 presets that you can customize yourself. The structure of the instruments and effects and groups within the aFrame is a little different than what you might be used to with synthesizers and drum modules, but it makes it very powerful and extremely flexible. Let's talk a little bit about the structure of the instruments and the effects, where they're stored and how they're stored. The aFrame out of the box has 80 instrument presets and 80 effects presets. You combine an instrument and an effect together to make a tone. A tone is then assigned to a group, and a group becomes your performance presets. There are up to 320 slots that exist in the group settings to store all your custom presets. These tones are stored in 8 groups. There's A, B, C, and D group, and A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime. Let's dig into some of the editing. The first thing we're going to edit is the main timbre. The aFrame uses what we call adaptive timbre technology to take the impulse response, the frequency content of your strike on the head of the aFrame, and manipulate it in the DSP process. The first thing we're going to show you here is the first part of the DSP process. That's called main timbre. To get there, I just press 1 and 2, and I'm in edit mode. So I'm going to go up to where the screen says main out T, and this is where I grab and choose what frequencies I want to use. So I'm going to mute the other 3 portions of the sound, and we're just hearing the main timbre. Now I'm going to go through and change the overtones. And what I mean by that is we have 32 frequencies that we can manipulate in each of these first two sections. This is all the odd frequencies, prime numbers, a bunch of Bessel equations, and those are equations that govern the movement of drum heads or membranes, all the way up to some crazy stuff, more drummy style things. These are all starting points for you. Once we pick what we want to edit, the sound that speaks to us, we can then go and choose how many of those 32 harmonics from low to high we want to edit. So we're using now just 1, and that would be the fundamental. I'm going to add the second harmonic within this particular set of frequencies. And here it's the octave. Third gets more complex now, all the way up to 32. And that's 32. A lot of different color variation that you can add right there. And we've just begun. Next, I'm going to go up and choose the fundamental frequency of these harmonics. This is done in hertz. You can see there's a lot of latitude and room for editing. Next, I'm going to choose the length of decay. I have up to 10 seconds. And I can go all the way down and make it short, essentially 100 milliseconds. Let's settle on 3.5 seconds there. And then I have a couple different settings for high frequency decay, overdrive. This is pretty cool. Now I get what guitar players get excited about. We just finished editing the main timbre. Now we're going to move on to the subtamber. The editing of the subtamber is almost identical to the main timbre, with one exception. It has a delay area where I can choose the length of time before the sound of the subtamber is heard. And I can also choose a delay tap to go along with that. For instance, I'm going to now bring in the main timbre and the subtamber. This subtamber right now has a 61 millisecond delay on it. You'll hear my strike, and then you'll hear the sound slightly delayed. Now that you've heard that the subtamber is delayed, I'm going to combine it with the main timbre, and you can hear how that affects the overall sound. That's a totally different sound than we started with already, and we haven't even got to the other 2 areas or the effects editing. The next area we're going to edit is the extras area. The extras area is where you find the sounds that bring the percussive element into the aFrame sound. That would be white noise, some different sawtooth waveforms, which you will recognize when you hear them, as well as a couple different types of click or attack. Here's a little white noise. You've heard that a lot in your travels through sound. We have low pass filter, high pass filter, band pass filter, as well as sawtooth waveforms. We call them jingles because they sound like different jingles, as well as clicks. So you have different kinds of clicks. These are percussive type sounds that you mix in with all the other three areas of editing. The last area of editing is the dry area. Really what that is the analog audio content of the center contact mic and the edge contact mic. This is what the aFrame sounds like. You'll notice that when I hit in different areas, there's a different kind of frequency content in each of those strikes. And when I hit in different corners, or not in a corner, or in the center, with the different tonal quality and frequency content of the strikes on the surface of the aFrame, the DSP-based sound will change. What we hear will change in relation to the frequency content and the sound of our strike. This type of tonal change, this color change with the aFrame, is what makes it a beautiful instrument. It's what makes it our own instrument. My strike is different than yours, is different than someone else's. It's totally going to be a different instrument depending on whose hands it's played by. There you have it, the electro-organic aFrame. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Craft Music. I'm Mike Snyder with ATV. Thank you for watching.